Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we'll go through how to write an excellent proposal for your engineering ethics project. So first of all, let's look at the rubric for the proposal. So the rubric for the proposal here. So this also this document is in the Google Classroom. Sorry for that. So if you look here, so every time you do anything, any project, you should study the rubric in order to know where the marks are given. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 category here in the rubric for the proposal. So the first one will be on the introduction, whereby you explain the background, considering the contemporary issues and responsibility relevant to engineering practices. So therefore, you should aim at the outstanding, excellent, column over here. So if you try the excellent one, if you don't get it, at least you will get good instead of like focusing on the rest. So must make sure that the purpose of the proposed project is introduced and background clearly stated and supported with evidence. Then so here, see the keyword is background clearly stated and supported with evidence. Then number 2 is setting the objective. So the objective must be very clear. Here you need to demonstrate skillful ability to identify the objective and make sure it's strongly linked to the issues or problem at hand. And then number 3, the project planning. So it should include scope, risk, benefit, including safe and healthy and legal issues. So when you do your proposal, make sure you tick all these things, and then make sure when you do this project planning, including everything there. So you need to ensure that includes major planning and to have milestone of the project. It means that at least you should have a Gantt chart, okay, a milestone chart or Gantt chart over there. Then societal impact. So this societal impact, what do you mean? You need to show that the proposal and the project display a wide range of original thoughts, solving the societal problem. So how does that project is actually solving the problem of the society because the project aim is to benefit the society. And then the cost consideration over here. So your proposal need to include cost. So you need to have a realistic project cost, and also include potential funding, where you're going to find funding for your cost, and allows for contingencies. So you also need to discuss what happens if you don't get the project funding. And then finally, make sure your presentation of proposals the format is good and logical manner with good proper English. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, now let's look into the template for the proposal itself. So we have read through the rubric, now the template. So I've given you the template and you can find it in the Google Classroom. So here's the template, the first page. So here say put your title of the project here. So this is where you should put your title, and then put your date here, and then you can put, if you want, you can put some photo over here. So this maybe can be put a little bit up, some photo to just make the proposal interesting, to clearly explain what is your project about, just like illustration. Okay, so in the proposal template, first you have introduction or rationales. This is where you need to explain of why, what is you going to do. So this is a link to the rubric that I discussed before, whereby you need to make it clear what is the project, and over here as well you should include the problem statement. So you should have some introduction, what is it about, what's the background of it, and then talk about the problem statement, what is actually you want to solve. And then, as I mentioned, if you want to get an excellent proposal, what they call it, introduction, in the rubric, you need to have evidence over here. So evidence can be, you can quote, you can quote some newspapers, or you can quote some you know, paper, journal papers. You can quote any news, or you can quote somebody that you met in terms of the problem statement. Okay, so if you want to get full mark with that, need to have evidences. So when you say evidence, you need to have reference. So when you say reference, it means that you need to have a who said that, uh, the date, etc., or the year. Okay, so then we looked at the object. Then second part is the objectives of the event or the project. Here is supposed to be project, objective of the project. So objective, um, excuse me, objective, how to write a good objective. So I think sometimes I think students don't know how to write excellent objective. So in order to do that, you can Google about this if you want to learn more. The objectives need to be smart. Okay, what does smart means? So S, make it bigger here. So S stands for S stands for specific. So the objective, each of the objectives, let's say you have 3, do not have more than 3. 3 is already maximum. You can have 1 or 2. Well, a good number is 3. So each of the objectives should have this smart value. What is smart? The first one, S, means specific. So you need to know, it cannot be too general. Oh, I want to clean the masjid. So it's very general. So you need to give specific details, which masjid, and also what is it, the whole masjid, or so on. So first, specific. And number 2, it has to be M, measurable. What does measurable means? It means that when you do the objective, you make the objective, you need to be able to measure the outcome of the objective. For example, I will design 3 machine for cleaning. So 3 is measurable. So means in order later on, at the final outcome, when we evaluate, we know whether your objective is fulfilled or not. So it need to be specific and measurable. So we need to be able to measure the success of it cannot be too vague and subjective, such that cannot be measured. Therefore, we don't know whether you actually fulfill or not the objective. And number 3 is A. A is I forgot what's A. Go and Google it. A. Can't remember for now, but you can Google smart objective, what it means. R is reasonable, and T is timely. Okay, so R should be reasonable. So it should be, it cannot be something, what you mean, it cannot be something which is magical, that something you cannot, it doesn't make sense. So it must be, although it's measurable. For example, you're going to find 3 unicorns. For example, unicorn is not reasonable. So R, your objective should be reasonable, and T means timely. So it needs to be able. So we know the project should end by week 13 or so of the semester. So your objective, whatever you aim for to do for the project, make sure it's you will finish within the semester. So these are the criteria to have a good objective. So when you write your objective, please make sure you can tick all this. So that it will be a good objective. Therefore, you get full marks. Objective is very important for any project, finding a project, or any kind of project. Objective is very important. So you can follow this. This is what they call it. This tips how to write good objective. And number 3, in the template, you need to write the detail of the project. So now in this section is where you can elaborate a lot. You propose the method flow of the project, right? And so you, what do you call it, here you propose the method flow of the project. Not only that, not only the method flow of the project, you can also, and here is also where you put the timely here. So in here you should have a Gantt chart. So you need to have a Gantt chart of that. So you need to know Gantt chart, flow chart. Flow chart is for the methodology. And then for example, in the details of the project here as well, this is where you, what do you call it, this is where you identify who's do what, because you have 4 maximum, right, in your group. And then in this detail of the project, you will say, oh, Ahmad is doing this, Ali will do this. So that shows that it's very clear, everybody knows their role. And sometimes maybe one thing, 3 people will do it at one thing. So that need to be clearly mentioned. So maybe here you will say who's the secretary. So then you as the leader, who's the leader, this is where you spell out. Okay, so here also where you can detail when you explain about the methodology or the method that you're going to do, is very important here, because this is when I will check whether you actually know what you're going to do or not. So therefore you need some time to make sure you roughly know. You need to discuss to your friends, and if it involves a third party, what is the mahalla or the masjid, or the community, discuss with them whether they sort of agree. Maybe you don't know 100%, but they sort of agree that that is the method that you will do for your project. So here, this should be the one of the longest what do you call it, part of the proposal, where you make it clear. In the methodology, if it involves designing, this is where you should draft the design. Maybe draw simple, say this, then you can say the design will be further improved later on, but at least you there's some diagram to support. Okay, now then number 4, outcome of the project or impact to the society. So here you can highlight the outcome of the project and impact of the project. So now then here you need to explain in the end what the society will get. Okay, so make it clear. It doesn't have to be long, this one. Again, here you have member and responsibility. Here, if you maybe last time I was saying, maybe you include over there. Here you can also, if you didn't include in here details of project, you can include, maybe you should include over here members and responsibility, who is the project manager, who's the secretary, and so on. Okay, and number 6, the financial. Okay, so when I say in the details of the project, if you look at the rubric that I mentioned before, in the rubric they were saying about risk, health and safety matters. So anything, so make sure you need to study the rubric plus the template. If in the template it doesn't say anything about health and safety or risk, you need to look in the rubric. If there's the keyword is there in the rubric, you need to ensure that you included it in the proposal. Where you should put it in, you can put it in the details of the project. Okay, so you can write down what put a subsection under the under 3 is risk or safety and health issues, if there's any. Okay, so it shows that you're actually thinking and planning properly for your project. So then final implication. So financial implication. So financial implication is where the costing are. So you can follow this this table over there, where your items, your budget, and source of financial. Where so this is not a good example of here. Source of financial here, instead of like writing like this, you should write for example, you're going to maybe donation from masjid, or maybe crowdfunding, or maybe our own expenses. Our own expenses means that is your pocket money. So this you need to be you can be as creative as possible. So regarding the financial, right? So if you're going to request from outside, you can write a letter, and then at the bottom there you can say approved by who. So So you write the letter, show it to me, then I will maybe I will go through it, and if I agree, I will then sign the letter. So you can use that letter to request for financial, or over there you can put my phone number. If in case the masjid want to clarify, they can call me. But first the letter must go through me. Any letter for outside parties other than the class should go through me. If the letter, and in ethics, whatever, in engineering ethics, whatever we do, we need to have permission. For example, if you're working on the mahalla, we need to get the permission of the principal, if masjid, the rector of the masjid, and so on. So we cannot do any, otherwise you'll be violating the rules and regulation of that place. And finally, conclusion. Who prepared by who? Prepared by who should be the secretary. And then make sure you sign and you put your name. Previous group, they don't sign, they just put their name. It show you like you don't care. So then approved by, it should be approved by your leader. Name, signature, it means the leader of the group. So I know that the leader have read this carefully, and if there's anything wrong with the proposal, so it means the leader is also at fault, because he already read and he already signed. Okay, so basically that's the how to write a good proposal. If you have any question, you can ask me in the class.